Good morning, Trump's family. Welcome back to my channel. Have a good day, everyone, and God bless you. Alright, let's get into the news. And lots of rumors spreading all over social media right now. Here, over the last couple of weeks, we've heard a couple of different things. We've heard that Facebook is looking to reinstate President Trump on its platform. And now we are getting news that Twitter might also reinstate President Trump on its site. And now there's a couple of different reasons I believe this could be happening, and one of those reasons is actually touched on by this article that was written by WayneDupree.com, is that they're so needing that these platforms are tanking as far as monetary, not generating a whole lot of interest. And who would you want to bring on to generate interest? While you would bring Donald Trump back to generate interest, people would flock back to Twitter to see what President Trump had to say if they're not on Truth Social already. And we know the mainstream media absolutely misses having Donald Trump on social media, or at least Twitter or Facebook, because that's where they would write the majority of their stories off of his tweets. Well, anyway, we're gonna dive into this in just a moment. And this was news this morning, just broke, and it says this here. It says reports are swirling that Twitter is about to make a big move with President Trump's account. Woke up to some potentially interesting news. We're hearing reports that Twitter is about to reinstate President Trump's Twitter account. Now, I don't know if this is true, obviously. But I will tell you what's being said and you can make up your own mind. The report is coming from an account called For a Squawk. And while they're not verified, they are a popular tech news account with over 250,000 followers. So do that with what you will. Here's what they said. On their account, they said Twitter Inc. said to reinstate Donald Trump's Twitter account. So let's assume this is true. Why would Twitter be doing this? Well, there's one pretty big reason: they're tanking and need to generate interest. Forbes reported back in July that social media giant Twitter posted a worst unexpected loss Friday morning in its first earnings report since billionaire Elon Musk backed out of the deal to buy the company, fueled in part by the massive uncertainty around the firm's fake or skinny fate and Fake 2, as it embarks on potentially lengthy legal battle with the world's richest person. The San Francisco-based Twitter reported revenue of $1.2 billion in the second quarter, falling short of the average analyst estimates calling for $1.3 and slipping 1% from the same period last year. The company also reported a worse-than-expected loss of $270 million or 35 cents per share, compared to the expectations for a loss of 7 cents per share and a profit of $66 million in the second quarter. In its earnings release, Twitter blamed the disappointing performance on advertising and for industry headwinds associated with the broader economic concerns and uncertainty around Musk's deal to buy Twitter and take it private. The firm says it's not hosting an earnings call, issuing shareholder letter, or sharing financial projections, with the deal still in flux. However, I will say this, and it's gotten way worse since, and here's what people are saying. The Dow NESC is needed. Welcome back. Don't think it matters. Trump says he'll never come back. I know Trump says he'll never come back to Twitter. But the alert that massive account and ability to really get his message out may win over. I will believe this when I see it, liberals melting down and coming. Now, President Trump did say he was never going to return to Twitter. But what, as this one user had pointed out, I know Trump says he'll never come back to Twitter. But the alert to that massive account has massive up to like 75 billion, I think, people he was following him. And the ability to really get his message out may went over. I do believe that Trump would truly consider returning Twitter just because of the massive reach. I know Truth Social still growing. But can you imagine if he's able to utilize Twitter as a lifeboat to get people from Twitter to Truth? If social could be a great business strategy. So we'll see what happened. I would love to see Trump come back to Twitter, because I recall so many of the greatest things that we saw take place over on Twitter was over at the time that Trump was on Twitter. So we'll see what takes place here. But let me know what you guys think in the comments down below. If Trump is reinstated on Twitter, will you return to Twitter? Are you still on Twitter? Are you one of the millions that have been banned from Twitter? Maybe you have done all accounts to try to get back on. And now, it is a worldwide phenomenon that is growing, and in the post-pandemic world, after all of the policy disasters, after all of the globalist garbage that we've had to endure, the idea that conservative populism is just going to go away and die with Donald Trump has always been his copious left dystopia. It never represented the reality when it comes to the political momentum shift that we are not only seeing in the Americas, we're seeing in Europe and, frankly, We're probably going to see across the globe conservative populism is rising very often. It's been dubbed as the new conservative era, the new conservative age. Well, folks, it seems like it is here, as Italy has now officially elected on America First style. Italy First style is probably the best way to say it. Conservative Populist Party, the parliament. But not only that, they elected that party known as the Brothers of Italy with a strong decisive majority in parliament. It was a landslide victory for the conservative populists. That means they have total control over legislation going forward. Folks, the EU left droids are panicking, shivering as Italy goes full Trump, full Make Italy Great Again. And as the globalist left boids and their new liberal order crumbles before their very eyes. We've got some stuff to cover. Folks, this new conservative movement continues to explode and expand, and it's not slowing down anytime soon. Let me show you guys exactly what's going on as we take a look into the Brothers of Italy political party. Let's roll the tape. Alright friends. So you just Google Giorgia Meloni, which was the woman who was just elected decisively as the new Prime Minister of Italy, and the headlines pretty much tell you all that you need to know. Just imagine coping left boids typing at their keyboards, and tears basically looking like the crying soyjack meme. Europe holds its breath as Italy expected to vote in for right leader. The return to fascism in Italy. Italy posed for hard right leader as country votes and snap election. How afraid should Europe be of Giorgia Meloni? Italy votes as far, and immediately what that tells me is that Giorgia Meloni is probably not our right, she's probably just a normal conservative, run-of-the-mill conservative nationalist populist. Immediately what that tells me is if the mainstream media is panicking and smearing her as far right or as a semi-fascist and a fascist, and she's probably a decent, hard-working woman from a working-class background with some decent policies, and I delved into it just a little bit, and that's pretty much what I'm finding. Italy returns to fascism and far-right policies under the Brothers of Italy. Then you go to European Conservatives and Reformists group, the ERC group member party Brothers of Italy. Fratelli d'Italia, founded in 2012. Fratelli Italia is an emerging force in Italian politics, with the party increasing its vote share during both the 2018 national election and the 2019 European elections. The party promotes respect for sovereignty and national unity, underscores the importance of a fair, sustainable and modern system of taxation, and advocates the necessity of security, the rule of law and social cohesion. Does that sound like fascism to you? Does that sound like extreme far-right stances? The only evidence of extremism and far-right politics that I can see associated with the group are that some members supposedly posted some edgy memes involving that 1940s Germany leader, to which the leader of the party immediately suspended every single one of those members. And while the party in its inception did have some connections towards Mussolini and fascism, or praising that kind of style of politics, that does not represent the current iteration of the party under this current leader. From what I understand, Giorgia Meloni has worked extensively to bring the party to the center-right and has a consistent track record of condemning outright extremism. In other words, it's a centrist right-wing populist party that believes in low taxation, the rule of law and secure borders. In other words, for right Mussolini, Hitler fascism, according to The Guardian, and The Atlantic, and the rest of these ridiculous goons trying left OID tears on Twitter. It's just ridiculous, and honestly, I don't want to spend most of this video entertaining all the garbage talking points that we're seeing from the left. The simple fact of the matter is that this should be a celebration, actually a celebration of two things. As Jack Postbag points out on Twitter, this is Giorgia Meloni shattered the glass ceiling. But wait a second, I thought these evil for all right, conservative extremists were misogynist and racists, yet these misogynists elected a woman as their party leader. So much for that narrative. So that's one thing to celebrate. But of course, the main thing that we have to celebrate is this continued momentum shift. We're seeing it in Sweden and so many other countries, and now we're seeing it in Italy. And it wasn't just a small increase in political support in favor. It was a massive blowout victory in Italy. They have a parliamentary system, meaning there's tons of parties on the ballot. It is extremely hard to win a majority. For instance, if we take a look at Canada, Justin Trudeau has theoretically won the last two elections, but he won a government minority, meaning Justin Trudeau as Liberal Party won the most seats in Parliament but didn't win a majority of the seats in Parliament, meaning Justin Trudeau his party had to form a coalition with the Joggers Jagmeet Singh, representing the NDP, which is basically the AOC far left-wing faction of Canadian politics. And so you have this tug-of-war system where if the leading party doesn't score a majority, then they need other political parties to form a majority with them in order for them to pass legislation. And they have to compromise. That happens quite often. But in this case, in Italy, the Brothers of Italy have, according to the exit poll data that we currently have, secured or are on the verge of securing a parliamentary majority. That means no other party can stand in their way. They don't need a form of coalition like clown Justin Trudeau needs to. They can just get the job done. And they have a very specific mandate, I'm assuming, based on what I've researched, very similar to what we're seeing from conservatives across the globe: lower taxes, rule of law, pro-freedom, pro-independence, anti-government, lockdown and control, and emergency power abuses. And of course, most important, the nationalist element, taking care of your own, securing your border, and implementing policies that benefit you and your people above the world's needy, because in many cases, making the world's needy your main priority usually comes at the expense of your own people. This conservative populist movement is growing, and it's growing significantly, folks, in this environment of economic instability, of foreign policy instability, with globalist entities causing nothing but havoc, whether it's the WHO, NATO, the EU, the list goes on, and on the WEF. Of course, probably at the core of all of it, people are waking up, and we are seeing a clear political shift towards the right. It's happening across the Western world, and you can no longer deny it. Just like I covered the video on Pepeliaev. In Canada, the new conservative leader, who, by the way, might add, is now leading in the polls significantly against Justin Trudeau. If there's a right-wing shift happening in Canada, well, then you would be a very unique level of naive, or what's the word that I'm looking for, trying not to sound too rude, let's just say dumb, to believe that it's not happening across the globe. And specifically in the Western world. The new conservative age is rising. And it's like I've been saying, Donald Trump does not represent the totality of this new populist, conservative nationalist movement. Donald Trump was merely the seed that was planted, and now it's blossoming, and people are waking up to the hypocrisy of the left and the globalist liberal New World Order, and the pendulum is shifting. It's shifting significantly quicker than expected, most likely thanks to lockdowns and all the other nonsense, and this is more proof, what we're seeing out of Italy, that this conservative movement is continuously growing and expanding. And keep coping, left boys, you are losing on the world stage, and that at this point is an undeniable fact. Congratulations to Italy and their political awakening. Hopefully you folks enjoyed this chat this morning. Thank you for watching the video. I wish you a